what it is. Yeah. Should we sit here? Is that okay? That's the family.
Welcome, everyone. Feel free to have a seat if you would like. We're about to get started. Well, again, welcome. We're very happy to see such a wonderful crowd out here for the dedication of our Clouse Kirian Leadership Park. I'm the truck. As you can see, I am not Mayor Montz. He has been detained at a meeting, but he will be here shortly. So for the moment, I'm going to just welcome everyone, say we are very excited to have the completion of the park. This was a project that started with the Leadership Seneca County class of 2014. It has blossomed, bloomed, it has moved and changed, but we're very excited to have the completion here today. We will have our historic marker dedication, the Kirian family dedication. So at this time, I would like to welcome up Shoshanna Gross from the Ohio History Connection to do our historic marker dedication.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me here today and for welcoming the Ohio History Connection to Tiffin. On behalf of the Ohio History Connection, I'd like to just talk a little bit about the Historical Markers Program, which began in 1957, and it's a program that we are very proud of. It's the kind of program that allows communities to identify, honor, and commemorate the important people, places, and events that have contributed to their past, and to share those stories in a visible and lasting way. The mission of the Ohio History Connection is to spark discovery of Ohio's stories, embrace the present, share the past, and transform the future. We hope that all of you see yourselves as part of the Ohio History Connection and that your stories are represented. We cannot do this alone, and so historical markers are one of the ways that people help us do that. The people who create them, support them, and enjoy them really do contribute to the mission of our organization. There are now approximately 1,600 Ohio historical markers around the state, each telling a unique piece of Ohio's story. If you haven't seen them or noticed them before, now that you have this one, you'll see them everywhere, I swear. It's like they just start popping up. And you may even start to stop and read what they all say. I know I have since I started working for the Ohio History Connection. Really interesting pieces of our state's history are told on these plaques. Your marker is honoring the founding of Tiffin, and it now joins the other state markers in telling the story of Ohio. You are to be commended for taking the initiative to identify this important historical aspect of your community. We actually have a couple of commendations that I would like to present to the Seneca County Historical Society. I'd also really like to thank the William G. Pomeroy Foundation, whose generous support has made this marker possible. The individuals and organizations came together around an important Ohio story and dreamed of a way to memorialize their story in the community. Together, their research they came together to research and submit the initial marker application, to put together the funding for to both purchase and install the marker, and to do all the unforeseen jobs that led to today's celebration. The Ohio History Connection's role was to guide and advise them. If you're interested in creating your own historical marker, you will get to know Andy Veerhoff very well, who knows Ohio's history better than probably anyone I've ever met. And he spends a lot of time and energy making sure that these texts are correct, along with the people who are working to put the marker up. We also really want to thank Siwa Studios in Marietta, who has the mold for these and takes care of them for us. To mark this special event, I am proud to present commendations from the Ohio History Connection's Executive Director, Bert Logan, and the Board of Trustees. So, sorry. And this commendation is for the Seneca County Historical Society for furthering the knowledge of our state's heritage by placing an historical marker on June 26, 2018 to tell the story of the founding of Tiffin and how it became the permanent seat of justice for Seneca County. I have one more for you, so stay here. And also, to present the proclamation from the William G. Pomeroy Foundation for, oh, I guess it says the same thing. So also, the William G. Pomeroy Foundation commends you for your work today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again for inviting the Ohio History Connection to take part of your community's history and the special dedication today. Please enjoy your marker and its place in history. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to invite Tonia Hoffert up from the Seneca County Historical Society to say a few words.
Thank you. Glad to see everybody here today. If you would have went back 200 years ago, you'd be standing in a really wooded area right now, so you wouldn't be in this hot sun. So I'll try not to talk too long. We stand here today to dedicate a historical marker that acknowledges the founding of the city of Tiffin. But now imagine standing here and go back in time 200 years. Looking across the river on the left, we'd see the remains of the old Fort Ball. By now, the old fort would be in the process of being dismantled to build pioneer log homes for homes in the area. On the right, you would see Erastus Bow's Pan Yan Tavern, where the Frost Parkway and Washington Street intersection is today. Erastus Bow was Seneca County's first white settler, arriving here in November of 1817. In fact, it was 200 years ago this month that Erastus Bow brought his wife, Eleanor, and 2-month-old son, Erastus Guilford Bow, to Seneca County. 200 years ago, the Sandusky River would have only been half the width that it is today. It was widened to its present-day size after the devastating flood of the 1913, where we lost 19 lives. The only road for travel in this area would have been along the military road of the riverbed. On the south side of the river, where we're standing now, there was nothing much more than a dense forest of trees and the wildlife animals that lived there. The area basically looked this way when Josiah Hedges arrived in the area in 1820 and decided to buy the land on this side of the river. In 1821, Josiah Hedges entered into the Delaware Land Office and purchased the land, which was surveyed by his brother, General James Hedges. In March of 1822, the city of Tiffin was laid out with streets and lots. And it was at that time 3 men were commissioned to locate Tiffin as the city and the county seat for Seneca County. Josiah Hedges named his new city Tiffin in honor of his friend Edward Tiffin, who was the first governor of Ohio. We'd like to say it was smooth sailing from there on, but the community of Fort Ball on the north side of the river was also growing. With that, the same lot of competition between the two towns of New Fort Ball and Tiffin, especially over the use of the river for dams, mills, and toll bridges, and for official government offices. It was an aggressive Josiah Hedges, through his persistent willpower, did whatever was needed to move his city Tiffin forward. In 1835, the Ohio legislature incorporated the town of Tiffin, while it wasn't until 1849 the town of New Fort Ball became incorporated. After years of competition in 1850, the two cities merged and formed one city, Tiffin as we know it today. So ending, the Seneca County Historical Society proudly presents the Ohio Historical Marker to our community. This marker will constantly remind us of our history. It will also remind us of all the hard work and hardships that our pioneers endured to build a city out of the wilderness. We anxiously look forward to celebrating the 200th anniversary of Tiffin's founding and our bicentennial in 2022. Bart, if you'd like to unveil the sign, please. It's a lot taller than what we thought it was going to be. Thank you. I will turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Tonia. At this time, I'd like to invite Tonia Breidenbach, who is the Vice Chair of Leadership Seneca County.
Good morning. On behalf of Leadership Seneca County, it is such a pleasure to participate in and celebrate this dedication of the Clouse Kirian Leadership Park, a project that began when the Leadership Seneca County class of 2014 made it their mission to create a downtown park that everyone in the community could enjoy, many of whom are here today. Leadership Seneca County has been involved in the creation and development of Leadership Park since the beginning and is very proud of the Leadership Seneca County board members and community members and class members who have worked with our community partners to ensure that the park project was not only completed, but as you can see, exceeded expectations. Since its inception in 1995, Leadership Seneca County has made and continues to make a significant impact on our community by helping to develop many of our community's leaders. Not only do Leadership Seneca County participants learn more about their community and foster important connections with other community leaders through their Leadership Seneca County experience, but they also make a huge impact on our community with their leadership skills they develop and having a greater sense of teamwork and project learning. Let me tell you a little bit more about the impact the Leadership Seneca County organization has had on this community. It is with great pride to report that since 2014, Leadership Seneca County class participants have developed projects that have captured the enthusiasm of so many donors, both personal and business, providing over $120,000 in support for meaningful community projects such as this. As you drive through downtown, you can't help but notice the beautiful mural on the side of the Supans Howard building that was the vision of the class of 2015. Other Leadership Seneca County classes have raised money to purchase community necessities such as a tactical camera, bicycles for our community's youth, and most recently, school supplies that are important to the lives of the Fostoria students. In all of these cases, Leadership Seneca County participants worked together to reach their project goals and did so by collaborating with our community. Leadership Park is a perfect example of the way our community works together to make Tiffin such a wonderful place to live and work. We hope that our area citizens enjoy the beauty of this park for so many years to come. And hopefully while they visit, they will be reminded of the great leaders we have been blessed with within this community, in the past, in the present, and most certainly in the future, for many years to come. Thank you to everyone who's here today, who helped make this Clouse Kirian Leadership Park such a wonderful addition to our community, an addition of which all of us can be proud of. Thank you.
All right, at this time, I'd like to invite Lenny Klaus up to do the Kirian dedication.
Hey, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. Today I look at this as kind of like a trifecta. Gee, we're celebrating Leadership Park. We're celebrating a historical monument, and we're also celebrating Jerry Kirian's leadership. You ever wonder why we have parks and statues and things like that? I thought about it, and I thought, because you don't want to forget them. We don't want to forget Henry Gibson, who's in front of the courthouse. We don't want to put Hedges Boyer Park, the Hedgeses that were instrumental in the beginning of Tiffin, and on and on. So, immediately through this whole project, as soon as they said leadership organization, wanted to make this, I thought, I've never met a better leader than Jerry Kirian. So we have a monument here in his honor today, and I didn't want the community to forget about it. I certainly didn't want anybody at Clouse Construction to forget. And I sure didn't want his family to forget, and their families, so hopefully he'll always be remembered here if it's 500 years from now, okay? Because he was such a great leader, and he loved his family so much. When I was a kid, I was pretty independent, and I put in a kitchen for her, and she was cooking me supper. It was great. She said to me, she said, "Boy, you seem like a nice young man. I can't believe you don't have any girlfriend." I said, "Well, I want to get my career going. I want this and that, and I really don't have time for it. And sometimes it's more of a pain than what it's worth." So that's the way it was. So when she said, I said, "I don't know if I'll ever get married." And she told me, she said, "Well, you know, when you leave this earth, all you really leave is your offspring." So I want Jerry's wife, family, offspring to always remember him, not only his gravesite, but a special monument here, right here in Tiffin for him, okay? I didn't want anybody to forget him. So I guess that's all I got to say. Anybody in the family got anything to say? Put you on the spot here. Guess we'll go ahead and now unveil it then. Come on over here. Family for sure. Anybody else want to gather around? Just talks about Jerry's leadership. You guys come on over here and rip it off. Too much work for me here. Got it started for you. So now that anyone in the area, a lot of visitors down here, the Ritz, can come over and they always remember Jerry. And it kind of says it all right there. In memory of Jerry, just illustrated his hard work, his honesty, his loyalty, dedication. He will be always remembered as a fun-loving, true leader. I never met a better leader, and what a great spot for it. Hope it's here 500 years from now, as long as the rock lasts. Thank you.
Just very quickly, before I invite the mayor up, I just wanted to make sure that we just said a thank you to all the sponsors that helped to make this possible. The Advertiser, Tribune, Croghan Colonial Bank, Farrmers Trust, Heidelberg University, Huston Financial, the Klepper family, Laminate, Meshech Cross Foundation, National Machinery Foundation, Reineke Family Dealerships, Tiffin Insulators, Tiffin University, and UIS Insurance and Investments. So at this time, I'd like to invite Mayor Montz up to do the closing.
Thank you, Amy, and thank you all for coming out today. I apologize myself for being late, but several of us were in a county commissioners meeting that ran over this morning on some very important topics. But thank you for coming out, and whoever ordered this weather, I don't know if SIDEC took care of that, but whoever ordered this weather, it could have been much worse. And looking at what's coming this coming weekend, we're really in for it heat-wise. But what a beautiful addition to downtown Tiffin. And this is just another example of the spirit of cooperation that we have going on in the Tiffin community. From the city of Tiffin to leadership, Seneca County, Lenny and Len Klaus to make this possible. so many entities came together to make Clouse Kirian Leadership Park a possibility for this community. And I remember Lenny coming to me with this idea, and Lenny didn't care who got the credit or anything. He just wanted to see this happen. And had it not been for you, Lenny, we would have not been here today. These buildings probably would still be standing in the decrepit state that they were in, ready to literally fall in on themselves. I can remember being in the basement at one point before you had purchased it, back when the city looked at acquiring these to raise them. And there's like 4 foot of water in the basement, and there were things floating in there that we won't speak of. But just amazing that we have this incredible park now overlooking the riverfront. Really is a compliment to everything that is across the river on Frost Parkway, and it just goes into the theme of downtown revitalization and continuing the rebirth and the renaissance of downtown Tiffin. This community is alive and well. Our downtown is getting accolades now across the state, and this park will help us continue to develop downtown Tiffin and make this a destination for everyone as they come forward. So thank you to everyone who chipped in on this, whether it was from volunteer work to fundraising to just helping make all the moving parts come together. We sincerely appreciate everyone, and also thank you to the Kirian family for being here today. What a special day as we dedicate this park. Thank you for coming out.
Oh, I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you did. John never gonna get up there.
Let me know when you're ready, Randy. I'll take it.
Oh, God. I was always just telling him, hey, Gary, I don't know where we'd be, but I know we wouldn't be.